Hey, welcome to Hear Us Out. I'm Paul,
And I am Patrick.
and together we're Hear Us Out. How's it going, Patrick? I that
Pretty good, Paul. No, I like that because together we were almost Captain Planet or something there for a second.
that would have been better.
Deep cut, old reference for anybody who gets it. I appreciate your nostalgia.
I looked that up recently, and Captain Pollution is like such a weird
Was
character.
that the bad guy? It
No,
was
so
like a guy.
so he was one of the bad guys.
Oh,
It was like when all the villains in Captain Planet got together, and they were like, "Screw you, Captain Planet. We have our own captain," and they're all like nuclear waste and
right. CFC gases, aerosol,
yeah, yeah. Climate change,
ozone depleting chemicals. Um,
cows. Um,
that would be great to do today. And get in the comments below, anybody who's watching right now, and let us know what your 5 Captain Planet villain people would
yeah,
be.
yeah. What would their element be? That's the
Mm.
thing. Yeah. So
Exhaust.
um,
God, I love it.
so
Hey, actually, big news before you start, Paul. Pop Culture is back with us on lunch break, getting to watch live. We love you, Pop Culture. It's great to see you. I hope you're having a good day. And let's make you have a fun lunch.
yeah. Let's do it. So today we're going to be talking about the DCEU, the ending of it. We need to preference this a little bit. We understand that Aquaman 2 is coming out, but it isn't going to matter.
But why is it coming out?
Like,
Yeah, it's inconsequential, I think, is the likely most important word used in all of the reviews, I would say.
yeah, like what is it? Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is coming out, but we're talking about essentially with Flash out, kind of thing. We're going to be talking about that because that seems to be more of the membrane of kind of transference over to from the DCEU to the DCU. Obviously done by Peter and James.
They've taken the extended out of it, which, Paul, I'm very happy about. I always thought that the DCEU was an unnecessary messing with the acronym just to separate themselves one more letter from Marvel's MCU. I like the guts and the pride that they're now just going to go, yes, it's going to be the DCU,
Yeah,
the
which
DC universe, cinematic universe.
it's a way better. Yeah, so it's not DCCU.
Yes.
It's just the DCU, which is just the yeah.
It shows a bit of pride and a bit of confidence. So
It
I
does.
like that.
So yeah, so we're going to be talking about essentially the past, the future, the present. We're essentially going to be time travelers in this sense. But yeah, since Flash came out, which is this weekend, one of us has gotten to see it.
So last night, everybody, no spoilers, no answering, no questions, saying nothing about it.
No, we won't be spoiling it in any kind of way, but we will be talking about it, which is in the sense of it being a membrane between the DCEU and the DCU. As we said, Aquaman 2 is coming out. We're kind of ignoring it because it won't have a massive impact on the future of the kind of DCU. And then we also know that Blue Beetle is kind of that weird middle ground kind of movie, which is like it might be part of the new DCU. Depending on how well it does, it might leave. So, as I said, we all have which is a couple of things to say about it. So, yeah, so the Flash came out. It's coming out. It's essentially the story of Flashpoint Paradox, which, for anyone who doesn't know, is a big story within the Flash kind of universe, in the sense that he runs so fast, he goes back in time, he changes something, and then hilarity ensues.
And everybody understand Paul is talking only
But the
about
count
knowledge
is
from
not.
trailers, which is why I'm not going to even correct him if he says
Yeah,
something that's wrong. Not that
yeah.
he has. Oh, I'm really going to avoid all spoilers. Trust me, folks.
It's a hard line to kind of to pull, but Patrick's going to do it for us. So, um, so Patrick, let's delve into the past. Okay.
Okay.
So the
Take a
DC,
memory. I walked down the memory lane where we had E's and our DCUs.
yeah. So the ECU,
Mm.
DCEU. God, I'm like UN now.
Where did it start, Paul? Because
So
I like it was a brave start for me. Like I am right that it was Man of Steel.
yes, yeah, Man of Steel. Henry Cavill's which could debut as the Man of Steel. Um, yeah, we have mixed feelings on this. I'm you know.
Yeah. And I think, look, to give the people at home some spice, me and Paul don't 100% agree on everything about it, but I think in general, like, it doesn't resonate with me. I liked one thing I will say. I'm really glad that they actually brought out Man of Steel rather than coming out with a Superman Returns, a Superman whatever, Superman. I like the idea of, look, we're going to use a different title. Um, the movie I thought was just not great. I thought it just wasn't great. It needed to be better. There was some tonal issues. I thought Henry Cavill was good casting, but this is where we disagree. I think, and I'm going to let you say it yourself, but I think you very much thought he was good casting, if I'm not wrong.
Henry Cavill, yeah, great. Like I was excited to see what he could do. I hadn't seen him in much before Man of Steel, but I was definitely like, man, this guy has a lot of the he physically he looks the part, and then
For sure.
I thought, like, he might have that kind of homeland kind of charm to him, so I was very optimistic. Uh, Now
And like,
looking
how do
back,
you think watching the movie? How do you think he did? Because it's a tough job coming
oh,
out of relative, in Superman terms, obscurity, and being the start and the face of not just Superman but the DCEU as it was.
okay, so I think he did really well with what he was given. That's probably the best way
Nicely
to
put.
describe it. Huh?
Nicely put.
I think
Very nicely put.
I think Henry Cavill has a lot more chops to give as the Man of Steel, as Superman. I don't think he may have been given a lot of the opportunities to be more of the Man of Steel. So I always kind of look at him like Captain America, Chris Evans' character in MCU. Chris was given that opportunity to play that homegrown kind of American hero, which Superman is as well within the DC kind of comics. So like it was disappointing to see him as kind of a I guess as a everyman, not like kind of character where he was more like anytime he talked about the morals and ethics of essentially his upbringing and what he wanted to be and stuff like that, it felt like preachy a bit, which is like not how how Superman sounds. He sounds like he's a believer in it,
Mm.
and like Captain America, like Chris Evans was able to show that in Captain America. He was able to be just like, freedom is important,
He was
all
able to
these things.
represent it more than have to articulate it in too obvious a way.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my thoughts
Yeah,
on
and
Man of Steel.
you know what? We agree with each other a lot more than I thought on it then, because I think, like, when I say tonally, it was off for me. It wasn't. There wasn't enough joy to Superman, and it was the Zod dark grayness of it all, which pop culture mentioned that it was quite, in a literal sense, it was tonally too dark, as in it was color graded
Yep.
to the sadness end of the spectrum. But looking back, there's a scene where he loses his father, where Kevin Costner tells him, "No, you stay where you are." That makes no sense, and not just in a physical Superman way, but also there's a contrivance to it, and it set the character off on the wrong foot. And I think Henry Cavill could do nothing about that. So I think you've summed it up for me. Henry Cavill did a great job with what he was given. There's some great moments and let's say, there's some great frames in that movie. Um,
Oh yeah.
I don't think it was a strong start, but I don't think it was the worst start either.
That's
That's
the
why I'm
thing.
I'm always like, I don't like Man of Steel, but I'm not gonna throw stones at it.
No, like I do think that it was an epic start in the sense that they were broadening everything around and they were really putting money behind it, kind of thing.
Mm.
So like there, as you said, there are some great scenes within Man of Steel. The whole like city gravity kind of like thing, that's a great scene. Terrible plot, but
A little too long, a little too bashy into too many buildings. Like, I think the world engines, yanking things up and down and all that. Like, you're right, effects wise, very cool. Um, but I do remember sitting through it even the first time, going, How many buildings can these two guys just push each other through
Yeah,
before
that's
somebody comes up with another move?
that's always going to be a terrible problem with Superman anyway, kind
It's
of thing.
true.
But yeah, like Zack Snyder, I don't think was the best. I think he would have been a better as the overall director of like, you know, the Justice League movies and the
Mhm.
ensemble movies and maybe Batman, but Man of Steel should not have. Do you know what would be funny? I
He
think
was the wrong
now
guy for it.
James Gunn would have been really good as the Man of Steel director.
I know. I
But
know.
anyway,
Yeah.
we'll quickly move on because we don't want to kind of list. We don't want to
Yep.
go through.
Yeah.
I
Sorry.
do want to point out one thing, which is our poll online. So, what was your favorite DCEU movie? And I did pick kind of a good spread of the original kind of first ones, which was Wonder Woman, Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, and the Justice League. Um, the Man of Steel won 12 votes, so it got probably what about it got about like 41% of the votes.
Which kills me. I just don't get it. In that selection, I just don't get it. See, now I'm going to throw stones at Man of Steel.
Oh yeah, do because
Yeah.
the other one in there, which I voted for as well, which was Wonder Woman. like,
Yeah. Guess who else voted for that, Paul? Yeah.
like
There's no way in that selection. There's no way. Third act withstanding that you don't pick Wonder Woman.
no, I'm like moving on to Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman was a great. It was everything that the DCU was meant to be like. Which is so
Yeah.
I am slightly torn about the whole like Man of Steel poll win. So
People love that movie, and its fans seem to be very devoted fans. So I respect that. And I'm not, like I said, it's not the worst, but I think Wonder Woman makes Man of Steel look worse
uh,
because, like, for two whole acts, for 2/3 of a whole film, it is really bloody good
it is.
and quite surprising how well Patty Jenkins and everybody involved did what they did, including, the least famous of all the four famous Chris's.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Pine, he's going to hate me saying that about him. Sorry, Chris. Oh, we're still friends. The third act, the big fight,
Yeah.
the where the train left the rails, it doesn't completely destroy the rest of the movie because you could level the same thing at the final fight in Batman or in Man of Steel. That fight was a bit too smashy through buildings.
Yeah. Like
What?
the third I do think that the third act was a bit of a missed opportunity in the sense that it would have been really good as an ethical and morality kind of thing, rather than an actual outside source of influence and stuff. So yeah, I'm a bit torn with that one. But Wonder Woman was the only reason that I think Man of Steel is in any way not the so Man of Steel was the front runner is because that Wonder Woman was 2 movies down, so it's the fourth movie entry in the series, in the universe, and I definitely think it was if it was the next one, I definitely think that people would be jumping on the Wonder Woman train more than they would be the Man of Steel train.
It's
Not to
true.
say, not to say once again, loved Henry Cavill in it. Wonder Woman's overall movie was just a better one, like it
You know,
showed that's what a hero is.
yeah. And it's also how you do an origin story without it just being origin the whole time. Um, I'm going to be controversial for a second. I think Man of Steel might get a little bit, just a tiny bump of extra support because there are so many people upset at how Henry Cavill's lost the gig as Superman. So there could be a few, let's say, protest or support votes there. But Pop Culture's asked in the comments, Paul, do you think Wonder Woman 2 hurt the first film? Wonder Woman 2, or also known as Wonder Woman 1984, I think that hurt everybody. It certainly hurt Gal Gadot. Pedro Pascal is beyond being hurt. I think he's invincible. It was bad. And as far as like fall from quality first film to lackluster follow up, it's in for the running and one of the biggest disappointments.
That said, it's the first movie is still bulletproof to me.
Oh, for me, yeah, too. Like it takes the second film doesn't affect the first film at all for me, but I can imagine why it might for some others
I
if you're not being as fair.
I think it's the opposite for me. I think because of Woman 1984, I'm more protective over Wonder Woman now. Like because that movie
I
is
like
so
that.
terrible. Like because like do you think
Uh,
Wonder Woman 2 had hurt the first film? No. I think it made the first film even better because it showed what the Wonder Woman story could. It showed the level of what Wonder Woman could be, and it just shows like it's just like they set the bar and now 2 didn't clear it. So I'm just like,
yeah.
yeah, well, that's it. You're going to have to clear it next time.
Yep.
Kind of
Yeah.
thing. So
It was a real missed opportunity because gosh, if they'd made a great second film, maybe the DCU would look different now. Maybe the DCEU wouldn't be where it is.
well, here's the thing.
Oh,
Um,
he's going to say something cheeky any minute now, folks. I know this man.
like I think that Wonder Woman 1984 might have been one of the killing shots for the DCEU, and I don't think that's an unfair kind of comment.
I I don't think
Um,
so either.
no, sorry, I
I
was
think
actually
that's no, but I don't think it's an unfair statement.
I think
I I think it could have been one of the hammer blows on the nails in that particular coffin.
that's my thing because I think it was indicative of what the level of quality that they were getting after a while, kind of thing,
Mm.
which is a real
But
pity because the animated side is golden.
true, but and again, being conscious of time, we've got a few others that we got to throw in there. So, Paul, let's go back to chronology so we don't miss some stuff. What happened after Man of Steel?
So Batman versus Superman happened, which I actually don't have the thing. So I need to quickly just do the thing.
Well, whatever visual we can come up with, everybody in your mind think of one of the great missed opportunities because I maintain that 60 to 65% of Batman v Superman is brilliant and is exactly what I want from DC and is just great. But the 40% of it that's not good it's kind of like think of it like a pizza. If all the slices are really nice, but then one whole quarter of that pizza or a little less than half of that pizza is covered in flies and rotting fruit, you're probably not going to want to ever order from that pizza place again. It was such a good movie in so many ways, brought down by being such a bad movie in so many ways.
My thing about Batman versus Superman is the fact that um, why place your two biggest gun characters, Batman and Superman, versus each other? Okay, no, I know why. I'll be honest. So, Man of Steel didn't
Yep.
do as well as it should have. They needed to revamp the whole DCU thing. They pulled out one of the best stories that they could have, which was Batman versus Superman. Which was they tried to mix it into kind of being the dawn of justice, kind of like this is where it brings everybody together and stuff. I think this would have been an amazing movie to have as their civil war, kind of thing. Like
Yes.
if they were able to pull off other stories, I think the Batman versus Superman would have been an amazing um uh which is a Civil War type movie, which you could have had before it. The Justice so there's the animated show or animated movie called Justice League Doom, which is where Batman's contingency plans to defeat the Justice League are stolen, and the Injustice League uses it to essentially kind of try to kill the Justice League. I think this would have been a great follow up to that movie in the sense that it's like Batman's contingency plans because he always has contingency plans would have been a
It
great,
is
but
his way.
it
Yeah.
was definitely because the series was definitely screwed after Man of Steel, and they were just like, we need to pull something out of the hat.
Well, if we were going to do a quick root cause analysis without using up any time at all to say what went wrong with the DCEU overall, it's patience.
Yeah,
Um, because Batman v Superman could easily have had the subtitle of somebody in the boardroom at the top of DC would have went, yeah, right, put it as Batman v Superman. We have Avengers too, because it really it was like can we have our own you have what's the Justice League okay, so it sounds okay, maybe we can try and make it sound like one word by the time you get there, but okay, go for it. But as soon as we can, Let's get all our famous people, just whatever, the toys and the comics, any of that stuff. It just felt like somebody who had no love, care, or attention or knowledge of any of this stuff came in and said, they're leaving us behind. They've got like Avengers and things. Why can't we have them?
Yep.
Okay, do the two most famous guys right now.
Pretty much.
So yeah, patience would have got them a long way, because Man of Steel wasn't that bad a start. Batman v Superman shows that there was still plenty of quality there if they'd been patient and used it. And they followed it. What did they follow it up with?
That was followed up by the Suicide Squad. Sorry, Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad. And the first one was without the
yeah, just Suicide Squad. Yep, that's what they followed it up with.
Oh gosh, doesn't this play into something that we're going to have to talk about at some stage when we start talking about the cuts, the Ayer cut for Suicide Squad, the Snyder cut for Justice League, etc., etc. Suicide Squad, Margot Robbie, let's face it, just like became iconic without people even seeing the movie. Yep. There was a trailer or two that made Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. Everybody's like, oh, this is awesome. Movie wasn't really, though.
Nope. Can't really. Okay. Yeah. Will Smith and Margot Robbie in that film were the saving grace. Sorry, no, that's not even 100% true. The Amanda Waller character, the person she was great, but yeah, Margot Robbie and Will Smith were absolutely fantastic in this movie, and that's what saved it. For like, not saved it, but like made it watchable. But like, I don't even like, it's such a meh movie, and
I'm so surprised you're not mentioning Jared Leto saving the movie for you.
Oh, Jared Leto, God's sake. It was such a downfall. Like, my problem is, it's like the Windows release. All right.
Yeah, I love this. Where's this one going?
It's a bad OS, bad film. Good OS, good film. Bad OS, good film. Or like, that's all it was. Because the next one is Wonder Woman after Suicide Squad.
Oh well, there you go. Yeah. Okay, good point. So if we go from Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad, oh my gosh, I can't believe that was third in the list. Then Wonder Woman, big thumbs up. Hey, look what we can do. Yeah. And to be fair, Ben Affleck as Batman. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're in good shape at this point. We've got a good Superman. Henry Cavill, good Superman, not the best Superman movie. We got a great Batman.
Yep.
Didn't even get a Batman movie, but the Batman parts of Batman v Superman, great. Yep. The Suicide Squad can exist over there out of the way, and Margot Robbie can show up as a cameo if we ever need her. So, we've done things here, our DCEU up to this point. Wonder Woman, oh my gosh, you nailed it. You've got like the big three.
Yep.
Cast really bloody well.
Yep.
So what did they do next?
Well, they did Justice League. they jumped the gun on the Justice League, which was introducing 3 new characters immediately without anything, which was just it was just bananas.
Like, can we very briefly mention who's, for anybody who doesn't know, those 3 characters are Aquaman, who you now know and is famous, Flash, who we've already mentioned and is famous for all sorts of reasons, and then probably the most done dirty, disrespected character ever by a film, Cyborg. Forgetting about Ray Fisher and the actor and any of the issues between the studio and them and all of that stuff, but just a movie and Cyborg as the character. Oh, I said this to you earlier, Paul. If I was a Cyborg fan, which I'm not, but I would be really annoyed at what they did.
Yeah,
it was like they didn't even try.
Yeah, no, it was. They were just like, we need a goober to get this movie started. So let's use a character. Instead of just, introducing, we've said it before. I'm not going to get tied up in the Justice League too much. We said it before. Yeah. There's tons of videos of our thing of us saying the Justice League was rushed. You should have introduced
yes.
Avengers is a better way to do it. They introduced a character in Avengers 1, which is, but they did all the groundwork, and they did everything else kind of to bring. Also, by the way, the one character that they did introduce was Hawkeye. kind of thing. So which they joked, which they tickled into Thor, as well,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Which so it was just a
Can
terrible.
can we do 15 seconds of that boardroom reenactment again, where the guy is like, okay, right, so things aren't going exactly where we are. Let's throw more at it. Can we actually just have our Avengers thing? You can call it the Justice League, fine, whatever. Look, people seem to like our casting so far. What? There's six of them. Yeah, well, we've got three of them. Just throw the other three in, it'll be fine. Um, but just yeah, we'll probably only give two of them their own movie eventually. So I've seen this Avengers thing. Make one of them a Hawkeye. Okay,
Yeah,
Cyborg, cool. Yeah, make him our Hawkeye. Make him the one that we just don't care about. And as it turns out, you could see that Jason Momoa and Aquaman, because they were making the Aquaman movie, and we all knew it was happening, was getting relatively well treated by everything in the movie.
yeah. No, yeah. Well, that's the thing is because Justice League happened and then Aquaman happened.
Exactly.
So there was no way that they couldn't kind of give him enough because they were just like, we need to also build up the next movie, kind of thing. Which so we have to put in some effort in the Justice League movie to be able to tell them, because they were just at this point they were unsure if they were going to do a Flash movie. So they were just like Aquaman, which is one of the surprising ones that come out of the DCEU. It was I think it was a fairly good kind of film. It was
I
fun.
enjoyed the heck out of it.
Yeah.
I really did. You
I,
know, Aquaman for me is Venom. It's one of those movies. Like I went in to see Venom, and I came out going, I was really suspicious that they wouldn't be able to pull this off, but God bless them, they did. Same thing with Aquaman. I was walking in thinking, this could be a rough ride here, and I came out going, well done. You made the Fishman movie work.
yeah, it was camp. It was fun. It was entertaining. Which is so it was a good old laugh. So far out of the list, we've got like Man of Steel was 50-50, Batman versus Superman was 50-50, Suicide meh, Wonder Woman, oh my god, Justice League, what the hell are you doing? Aquaman, fairly
Yeah.
surprising. Because after that, Shazam.
Paul, it's obligatory. Every time we say Shazam, you know what has to happen.
Oh yeah,
We both have to say, when should it have come out?
Christmas.
There you go.
Shit.
We have
It's a Christmas.
100% record of talking about Shazam, and every time one or other of us or both of us saying we really like this movie. Like I think we both have a huge soft spot for it. But
We do.
why they didn't release it as a Christmas movie will go down in time as one of the oddest choices.
Yeah.
I've never seen a more Christmassy superhero movie ever.
It has Christmas trees in it.
It really does.
It has a whole Christmas tent. Never mind. Anyway, Shazam was a good one, which is it was showing the more. Once again, it seemed like Aquaman was showing the more kind of like this is us being different to the MCU. We're not being dark and gritty all the time. Shazam kind of really sold that part to it. Birds of Prey, which is the next film in that group, is
You wanna go for the
forgettable.
full title?
Oh, the
Oh,
emancipation
it's
of
the incredible emancipation of the former Harley Quinn or some
Yeah.
stuff, wasn't it?
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I don't even have a picture for it.
And it's not worth having a picture for it.
That's
And here's why. It's, in a word, it's forgettable.
Yeah, it's terribly.
And that's a
forgettable.
shame. I didn't hate it when I watched it. But if I had to actually describe it to you right now, I don't know if I'd be able to,
Yeah, yeah. Film.
which is damning praise. So, yeah, that was a waste. Again, that should have been their Harley Quinn vehicle. And then they kind of half backed out, and then they went for a Birds of Prey, and then they half kind of tried to back into it, making it a Harley Quinn movie in the advertising again. The writing was on the wall at that point. That's when you really start. You can hear them preparing the coffin. Maybe they haven't started hammering nails yet, but you're like, oh, you people have been rushing stuff, and now it really feels like panic is setting in.
Yeah, like that was the major kind of thing, because then we just had a slew of kind of like Bird of Prey, everybody calling for the Snyder cut, Justice League, which we have a review about that film, which goes, I think that the tales are it is good, but you can fix anything with 3 hours extra time on a movie. kind of thing. So I know I'm kind of rushing to the end, not rushing to the
Oh, go
end,
for
but
it.
rushing to the present, which was kind of part. So we then had what, Black Adam, The Suicide Squad, Shazam 2. So we had a slew of kind of really good. We had a slew of different movies because The Suicide Squad was good, but it was James Gunn kind of thing, which was like,
Yeah.
he was doing more of Guardians of the Galaxy just with the Suicide Squad, which was really fun. Um,
All forgettable as well, though, Paul. To be fair,
uh,
like if you take Black Adam, Shazam 2,
yeah.
like Suicide Squad, and I'm not, not even talking about their individual merits as films. I like Shazam 2. Thought Suicide Squad was actually, it was great James Gunn work. I really enjoyed it.
Mhm.
Black Adam, whatever. But again, any of them leave a lasting mark of any point, of any kind, like a real lasting mark, like a burning it into the paper.
Yeah, so yeah, the Suicide Squad did, and it was Ratcatcher's character. I really like Ratcatcher's character, kind of thing. Like I liked a load of the characters in that, but
Me too.
but
But did it, outside of liking them, for us, did it do anything on the general landscape?
oh
It
no,
didn't do a Guardians, like it didn't go beyond. It didn't
no, it
bring a Thor thing. It didn't have an end game. Like it didn't resonate with the wider world. And at that point, you're what, 9 films in,
yeah, no, it
eight
was
films in.
the defibrillator shock to the system kind of
Mm.
thing, which is just like, oh, we got the heartbeat going for 2 seconds, kind of thing. So that's pretty much what the Suicide Squad was essentially just that.
It's the
Um,
Shang-Chi of Phase 4. Anyway, um, yeah, I know it's your diamond in the rough.
oh.
Again, Paul, getting to that. Is this then when Wonder Woman 1984 comes up and we decide to box all this up and put it away?
Well, Birds of Prey, Wonder Woman, then the Zack Snyder cut. So Wonder Woman was kind of like, another death throw to the whole thing. Then we had obviously the Suicide Squad, Black Adam, and then Shazam 2, kind of death throws. So now we have the Flash, which is that's the one that we're getting now. So like that's the which is a pity in the sense because what I've heard is that it's good. So like it's a pity that they may have made their one of their best films essentially what's the best way to describe this? Probably 4 years after their worst or after their next best.
Yeah.
Um
Ezra Miller, when you watch Justice League, even the original cut, they should have taken the Flash character seriously and said, "Hey, look, let's have a bit of confidence. Let's build some universes here." But they didn't.
no, no, they
Um,
didn't.
and Paul, I'm conscious that we're going to end up heading into ads in a second.
Yeah.
So I just want to really quickly throw to some of the comments. And Pop Culture's pointed out something on a few points or at a few moments here. There's extended cuts and director's cuts of a lot of this stuff that actually does make them better. And
Yeah.
it's true. Almost universally, it does make them better in every way. And what does that say to you? He also says that Black Adam was his last straw. And I kind of don't blame you there. Fair play to you for making it that far
Yeah.
before hitting the last straw. So yeah, director's cuts being a solution for mistakes is not a good sign.
No, no. You can pretty much extend anything and make it better. There's the Hobbit films are actually way better extended. There's a whole huge big storyline that actually helps you understand a lot of stuff. But it wasn't in there. And the thing is that not all of the audience are going to commit to the extended versions. I think
No.
the Snyder cut was probably the most universally accepted one, but that's because everybody was morbidly curious.
And that's because it was a mini series that everybody had
Yeah.
talked about. Because let's face it, it's not just an extended cut. It's what was it, a 4-hour movie?
Yeah. Yeah.
Come
Um
on.
so yeah, so it's like I'm only seeing Flash for keeping Batman, hoping to surprise for a good film. Also haven't watched Shazam 2 yet. Yeah, no, it's Black Adam wasn't the final straw for me. I definitely think Wonder Woman was. I think Wonder Woman 1984 was the last straw for me, kind of going, well, I'm not invested in this series anymore. Kind of thing. So, and that was a pity. But yeah, no, that's the way it goes.
So, Paul, when we come back after the break, I think we should maybe talk about what we're going to miss. So we've done the postmortem on what's happened, and we know that we're not going to get all of it going forward. And there are some things, there are just some parts of it that I am going to miss, that I, a little tear in the eye.
Yeah, I definitely get that.
Wistful memories.
All right, we'll see you in a couple of minutes. Enjoy the ad.
You obviously like two people talking about movies, or you wouldn't even be seeing this ad. Well, don't tell anyone. But Hear Us Out isn't the only choice. You should check out our friends over at It Takes Two podcast. It's a podcast where two people take two films with the same plot or premise, watch and discuss them. Films like Gremlins and Critters, or The Truman Show on EdTV. Lisa and Nick don't stop there though. They get creative and compare some unexpected movies. Some that you don't see the connection until you realise that they can be described in the same way. They launch new episodes every second Tuesday, or Monday if you're in New Zealand. Find them on your favourite podcast service, or check the link in our description down below. That's It Takes Two podcast. Tell them Hear Us Out sent you.
And thanks for It Takes Two, our friends of the show. Let's just get their podcasts where you get their older podcasts. I'm terrible at this.
I was
today.
just going to say, anywhere that there's podcasts, they'll be there.
Yeah.
Anywhere there's injustice, what was that from?
Probably a...
No, it was whenever there's a something, I'll be there. Whenever there's a something, I'll be there. It was like it wasn't Condor.
Is it a tick? It wasn't the tick.
Was it the tick? Somebody in the comments is going to remind me of what sort of major brain fart I'm having right now.
I think it was the tick, but I could be wrong. So the DCEU is coming to a close. We've gone through essentially some of the movies that went through with the DCEU. What are you gonna miss? What are you gonna miss, Patrick?
I'm gonna miss Ben Affleck as Batman.
Okay,
I think that was inspired casting, and fair play to Ben Affleck for bringing everything he brought. Like physicality was impressive, but the older Batman I thought was bloody good, just great. And not my favorite Batmobile, so it's not just my car prejudice, tainting me. But after that, it's Wonder Woman. It's that movie again, and what they managed to do there. If they had done more of that, their casting in general was really bloody good. Zach Levi, Shazam, rock and roll, do it, excellent. Gal Gadot, oh wow. The person who I'd previously seen in a Fast and the Furious movie turns out to be a brilliant Wonder Woman.
Yep.
In a brilliant Wonder Woman film. So I'm gonna miss that. They've probably done as good a job as anybody ever casting for some of the toughest roles. Yep. And I don't know if they'll get lucky twice as much. As in, I can happily say that I'm looking forward to the DCU and what James Gunn does. But it's going to be very hard to get the casting that right, as consistently as they have done. The law of averages, it's just against them.
Hint: Martin, Steve, Chevy.
Yes. Oh.
This is good.
Thank you, Three Amigos. Good God, that's it. Thank you. Wherever there's injustice, we'll be there. Line, yeah. Three Amigos. Apologies, I've watched that film way too many times. It's just part of my subconscious now. So Paul, I'm going to miss the casting, but I'm particularly going to miss some of that cast. I would have loved to have had Ben Affleck Batman, and having Wonder Woman cameo in it and things like that. It just, whoever does it next, fair play to them. But I know that I'll have lived at a time when somebody got that casting so right.
I'm gonna miss nothing.
Really?
Yeah, nothing.
Not a zilch.
No. I am glad that that certain movies exist. I am saddened by Henry Cavill not being brought back as Superman. I'm saddened by the people. I'm saddened by people. As you said, some of the casting not being able to be brought back. I will not miss anything from that thing. I think it was just
from a story point of view, I agree.
I don't think like that's the thing is I don't think I can miss I don't think I can miss the cast yet.
Mm,
Like the first, like, you know, James Gunn's Superman legacy. I can definitely understand that I might start missing Henry Cavill and the casting a little bit more. But at this point in time, there is nothing I'm going to miss from the DCEU, and it's just because, to me, it's like the worst missed opportunity. We've talked about plots
yeah,
and stuff like that that have been a missed opportunity. The entire DCEU is a massive
yeah.
smattering of missed opportunities, money grubbing fucking executives, which is and just like a slew of just like what's a popular kind of thing that we should just bring out. We should do that next. We'll do that next. That'll be great. Everybody will love that. Oh, they didn't love it because we tried to just do it for
Yeah.
money, kind of
It's
thing.
actually impressive because with everything that they did so well, it would have almost, it seems like it would have almost been easier to do it right.
Yeah,
It's almost like they tried to do it wrong. And I just like to say, Paul, that you're gonna miss nothing. There's a perfect symmetry. We started with the Man of Steel,
yeah,
and now here we are with you with the Heart of Steel.
yeah.
You cold, cold, cruel bugger. You'll miss nothing.
No, I
Gal
can't.
Gadot doesn't even get a mention there for all of her great work
No,
as Wonder Woman. You're so mean.
no. See,
I'm
this is
joking.
the thing is, I love the films. I love Wonder Woman. I love that. I'm not going to miss it because the thing is that I'm now like I don't think they can get anything right anymore. I don't think
Yeah,
that
true.
I don't think the DCEU grouping could get it right
Mm,
anymore.
yeah,
Like, and I understand James Gunn needs to kind of reboot and clear the slate. It's a pity that he didn't decide to take the other cast with him. Like, it is a damn shame that he didn't decide to bring the other cast with him. But I don't I
I don't blame him. They would have been tainted by what's come, so I get that.
like yeah, it's a bigger kind of hurdle to change essentially because you're going to see Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. You're always going to bring her back to 1984.
Yeesh.
That was just the hardest. It's the biggest weight upon the shoulders of Wonder Woman is that film, which is and then it's the same. It's the same for all the characters. It's the
Yeah,
same for all the portrayals of those characters. So I'm not going to miss a single thing because it's just like everything that if they decided to try do it again would just be weighted down by that. Now, as I said, um, Superman Legacy may change that. I may change my mind. I might turn around and just be like, I really miss everybody from the DCEU. But at this
oh,
point, I'm like, I can't miss them because they were misused. You know?
yeah. You know what? Funny thing is, and this is weird because we got to talk about the DCU now, right?
Yeah,
I think Gunn and Safran, it's a great opportunity for a fresh start. I'm excited again. Now, how many films in, if it's not working, will I be thinking, oh no, this seems familiar? I don't think it's a number of films. It's a case of if they have a direction and it's obviously not driven by bad boardroom decisions, then I'll be able to respect it for whatever they make, whether it's for me or not for me, if you know what I mean. So if I don't agree with their creative direction, but I can see that it is a creative direction and cannot feel the hands of the boardroom poking in to have their can we please have our Avengers now make Cyborg our Hawkeye, um, then I think that's the biggest win of all. So yeah, I think James Gunn has the hardest job. Like Peter Safran, it's going to be tough, being the head of a studio to produce. James Gunn, it's going to be difficult making sure that he doesn't get too involved in this overarching story that he's going to try and tell on TV, movie, books, games, the works. That could end up with crazy person in a room with their little red felt
oh yeah,
and their pins.
Charlie from Always Sunny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So and he's never Superman is not somebody that I would have said he naturally should write for. And here's why. He writes broken people really well. And there's one thing that Superman isn't is broken. So I'm really excited now that I've thought about that. And when you said it earlier, wouldn't it have been great if he'd done Man of Steel? And
yeah,
I actually agree now. Because if he can bring his sensibility to Superman is not perfect
yeah.
emotionally. Like, that's the thing. There's a confused Kryptonian kid inside him as much as anything else. If Gunn does his thing, we could have the most interesting on-screen Superman ever.
Yeah, ooh, on screen, ooh, this new Superman and Lois thing is really good. I have to say
Good.
that, but yeah, no, I think that we could have one of the nicest Superman kind of like, portrayals that we've ever gotten. Um, I just read Pop Culture's thing, and I really wanted to get in.
Love
Uh,
it.
I'm also one and done.
Oh, it's DCU is one and done for me. I can't do it again.
Yeah,
So you're saying if they crap the bed with Superman Legacy, you're like, yeah,
it it's gonna
we're
be it's gonna be very hard to get me back into the cinema for the next one.
oh, see, I'm very forgiving. Very forgiving.
Like, it's my problem is that we've gone through it too much. Like, and I think the reason that I'm so jilted at this point is also because Marvel hasn't been doing as well. So
Yeah.
I'm set like the we said that they should have taken a break because they built up such goodwill from the audience that if they were to do some bad films, that they would be all right. They've burnt out through the goodwill so much that it's now affecting every single like
That's
superhero
true.
film. That if the James Gunn's kind of just or Superman Legacy isn't good, or isn't in some way kind of like telling of what this is going to entail in the future, I don't. It's going to be very hard to get me back in the cinema for a DCU movie kind of thing. And it's just because I'm jilted in both kind of franchises at this moment.
Well, yeah, you've been hurt. You've been hurt by everybody in the family. You know, Marvel, DC, the works. And you are closer to DC than I am. Also, I do know that you have a much closer history with them and much deeper knowledge and much more of an affinity with some of these characters. The reason I'm not one and done is because, well, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Superman is not the one that you have to get right for me. They're
I
starting with the one that I care least about, if you know what I mean. Because I've always said Superman's not my not my bag. I'm really interested in seeing if James Gunn can bring some more depth to it to make Superman my bag. So I may be heaping another sort of pressure on. If they were starting out with the Justice League, and I'm like, oh, brave choice, weird choice, I'm here for it, and they messed that up, then I probably would be like, well, you shot your shot, you missed, we're done. Thanks for playing. Good night, safe home. Um, or if they started with Wonder Woman, or even another Batman again. But the fact that they're starting with Superman, I'm like, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Because I can take a mediocre Batman or mediocre Superman.
I
But, it's a very personal thing for me that I'm okay with that. I would be saying the exact same thing as you, I think, if it was someone else on their roster.
I definitely get that. I think I would. I think no matter what, though, because I like Superman. I think he's a fairly complex character, kind of things. But I don't think it's like I don't think it's solely because it's Superman. I think starting with Superman is the worst decision that they could have made.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think they should have done
Oh, I don't know how much time we have left. Paul, what would you have done?
it. I think I would have started off with Batman.
Really?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
because Batman's a great character and everybody loves him, kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. And I think that sets your darker tone straight off the bat, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think that bringing in a lighter tone would with the next one would be a good one to kind of give you the light and day kind of thing. I think Superman is not as beloved as Batman, so I think
True.
getting people into the universe, I think Superman or Batman would be a better character to do it with, because you can do a because the thing is we got in and in no way to compare too much about the MCU. The reason that Iron Man was so beloved was because it's such a simple contained story,
Mm.
kind of thing. It's essentially
Yeah.
it's just bad people versus the good guy, kind of thing, and it's such at a level that we can understand, you know
Yeah, it was a very accessible movie.
you know kind of thing. It means that you don't have to have people being thrown through buildings. You don't have to do an origin. Like, I know the legacy's not going to be an origin story. It's going to be him in Smallville, kind of thing. But there's no kind of like throwing people through barns or flying really fast through cornfields or anything like that, or going to the big city to go to. It's essentially just a human, a normal, like a wealthy man who's very smart, like kind of doing a ground level thing that can introduce a larger universe. So I think it's a lot more accessible. And also, if you nail Batman, you would bring so many people into the DCU. If you nail Superman, like, only Superman fans are going to be really ecstatic for it. Kind of thing. I think if Superman fans, Batman fan, everybody would be really ecstatic for Batman being great. Kind of thing.
And I hear you, but thankfully, pop culture said what I was thinking. When you said start with Batman, there is a Robert Pattinson shaped problem with starting with Batman right now. Not saying that you're wrong, and I would not disagree with anything you've said. In fact, I think it's a clever route, and I think your reasons are well founded and well made. Well made, sir. Well made. You do have a small bit of bat overload with the Batman from Pattinson and the director whose name has escaped me, Vaughn.
But you have a
Yeah,
nice buffer, because you have Flash, Aquaman, and the Blue
True.
Beetle. You've got those
True.
three movies in between, essentially, the Pattinson film.
That's a
kind
very
of
good
thing.
point too.
So and also, like, you can freshen it up, like do year one or something like that. You can, like, because I think the reason why he's doing Legacy is to kind of bring it back to, like, he doesn't want to do an origin film, but he wants to do, like, maybe the first time Superman dons the cape kind of thing.
Well, I will give you my 30-second elevator pitch on here's what I would do in the crazy world, because you've got James Gunn, and because he's done it once before, which is no proof that you'll do it again.
Mm-hmm.
But the first movie could not have had Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, Flash, Aquaman. None of those. What if you did the thing where you actually went to the DCU or the DC catalog and said, who's got 100,000 readers here? Who are the people that are not massively known? Who are the Guardians of the Galaxy that we can say, hey, look, and I'm going to say soft starting, but we're starting the DCU with, hey, look, here's our business card. We're going to take characters and we're going to send a message to everybody of, here's how we tell story with characters. Here's some of our characters. Watch us tell a story. And if you do a Guardians of the Galaxy level job of that, I know it's a hard PR sell and a hard business sell, but I think long term it might pay off, because you get people, and I'm not talking Suicide Squad, I'm not talking anti-hero stuff, I'm talking actual.
No, you could
take somebody further down the DC roster.
That'll be Green Lantern more than likely.
I guess, yeah,
because that's the only one that would be recognizable.
But remember, Guardians of the Galaxy were barely recognizable to most, and in the lineup that they used, to even less in some ways. Like, there's got to be DC characters out there that even DC people are like, really? You're going with them? And then prove to everybody, yeah, we're going with them because we can take any character and here's how our universe is going to tell stories.
You could do,
by the way, post-credit scene is Batman.
You could do the New Gods. You could do the New Gods. That would probably be them, because that would also introduce then Apocalypse, Darkseid as one of the main characters.
I like that Freudian slip there. Yeah, the Apocalypse MCU and Darkseid DC.
Apocalypse is the world that DC is from, or the world is it's
Darkseid and
Darkseid
are all okay.
Yeah, they're all from the world's Apocalypse, which is like APO.
Gotcha.
So,
gotcha. See, this is why we have our DC expert for the show. Paul, you're not going to miss anything from the DCEU. You're not even going to miss the letter E. That's how cold and heartless you are. You're willing to cut, a percentage of the alphabet. I hope it goes well.
Mm-hmm.
I particularly hope it goes well now that I know that you and some of our other good friends out there are one and done. I really hope they don't fuck this up.
Yeah.
Trying to not swear, but jeepers.
It's going to be a great episode if they do. Like, it'll be...
Yeah, everybody tune in for that.
It'll be just me just going, right, I'm done. I'm done with superhero films.
You just sit sideways to the microphone and go, nope.
Yeah.
I'm just done. No more.
Do you want to point out Pop Culture said, would you not do a Patterson sequel Batman? Then I agree with you, you should start with Batman. Look, if I had any sway within the DCU, I would have Patterson come in as a younger Batman within the bigger world kind of thing. You've already got a really good film that everybody kind of enjoyed. You could do a sequel which introduced essentially that there are other metahumans within the world, kind of thing. Don't bring them in, like because let me be frank. If Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot and you know a few others were on the cards, you know, it would be a lot easier to kind of redo Superman, I think, as the first one, but yeah, I think Batman is a good choice to do it first, and if I was allowed, the Patterson Batman would have been the choice.
Well, I hope no matter what they do, I hope it goes well.
I do hope that James Gunn is able. James Gunn and Peter Safran. Okay, I keep thinking that it's Zac Efron. That's why I keep stopping at Efron, or Saffron.
Yeah, I can see why.
I hope they do well.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. So
hey, you know what? If they decide to surprise us all and Batman, Superman, if they never all meet and they say, hey, you know what? Everything's going to be standalone stories for us. I'll at least go, hey, you're doing something different. It's working with the Joker. You're making it work with Pattinson's Batman. I have no expectation that they have to do what I think. I have a huge, huge expectation of not watching any of their stuff if they don't start or don't allow what I think will be a creative team to put the art back into it and take some of the business stupidity out of it. Because the DCEU didn't need to be a failure, but it was.
The DCEU is the biggest show. It's the biggest, you can point to it now. I hope movie classes, movie courses across the world will now point towards the DCEU and go, this is what happens when business gets involved in movies. You know, you essentially ruin a universe that could print money. You know.
Yeah, you broke the bank machine.
So
I'd just like to say at this point, Paul, because we're heading towards the end.
Yeah.
Brian, if you're still watching, really appreciate it, buddy, because I know this isn't your sort of thing.
Yeah.
So appreciate you joined at the very start. You didn't even get a shout out. And this is the type of episode that you're like, really love the channel, but that's not my thing. So if you've stuck it around, we love you, brother. We love you. And Pop Culture, I hope you had a good, healthy lunch.
Yeah.
Or if it wasn't healthy, I hope it was yummy.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Which is, so let us know down below if you think, are you one and done with the new DCU? What are you going to miss from the DCEU? And let us know down below. That'll be great. Don't forget that sometimes we'll put up polls, which goes with our tweets. So that we'll talk about in our shows. So do get out there and which is get involved in the poll.
Choose better next time.
Social are down. Ooh, well, I voted for Wonder Woman, so yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So which is like, share, subscribe, ring that notification bell, do all the do's. Which is share us out on socials, follow us on socials. Love me.
Yeah, love us because we love you. And on that rather disturbing, but really genuinely, we do love you all note. I've been Patrick.
I've been Paul.
And we've been Hear Us Out.
See you next time.
Next time, Bat fans.